we are not all that far from Argentina, and we now have a government that is fully Peronist. The new Labour Party is fully Peronist, and will bring about exactly the same consequences.
Well, when you say Peronist, most people don't know what that means. And I've heard you talk about the rule of lawyers, and Keir Starmer being one. What do you mean when you say it's Peronist? What do you mean by when you talk about the rule of lawyers, and what does that mean for us going forward?
Well, again, I think the easiest way of describing it, by Peronism, we look at what happened to Argentina. Argentina was as rich as America in the late 19th century, a country of astonishing natural resources, which seemed a vast British investment, though it was never formal part of the British Empire. And then from the Second World War onwards, it embraces this perpetual statism, particularly under the rule of Perón, and indeed Evita, in which the public sector gets bigger and bigger, there is more and more nationalization, there is more and more welfare, and what you do is, again, it's something we can see going back upstairs, going back into the heavens. You can see repeatedly states get structures that are too big for their economies. That's what happens to the Roman Empire from 260 onwards. You develop there, it's the administrative and the military state and so on, and the tax base can't actually support it, so the state becomes self-consuming. And that's exactly what happened in Argentina, and or indeed it happened here in the 1970s. It's been manifestly happening here since the financial crisis, and the only way that the state can actually continue to pay itself without taxing itself to death is by vast inflation and the multiplication of the coinage. You suddenly create vast amounts of money. We called it something fancy, quantitative easing, but it's just as destructive of value, except it wasn't that it went straight into people's pockets, it went into property prices. Property prices haven't multiplied just because there are not enough houses. They've multiplied because vast sums of money were created by this disgustingly irresponsible thing called the Bank of England.